Hey guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. If you're joining for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name's Abby and I'm a homeschooling mom of 2 high schoolers. And I love to do these monthly goal videos, not only to share kind of what I'm working on and the things that I'm trying to achieve, but also to try to encourage you as well as you're working towards your own goals. And you guys do a fantastic job of keeping me accountable to trying to meet as many of my goals as possible. So I share goals in 5 different categories. Personal and faith, that's one category. Health, homeschooling, home and garden, and then family and relationships. And I've got my little notebook here with my little notes, so if you see me glance down, and that is what it is for. There are some huge things going on in life, and I will talk about those and how those are impacting my April goals. So let's dive right on in. And yes, according to my goals, I should be drinking water right now, but I'm drinking coffee because I really, really need it. So let's start with faith and personal, because there are some huge things going on in life right now that are really going to impact what I'm trying to accomplish in that category this month. Well, one of the goals is a pretty serious one, and then one is a little more lighthearted because you've got to have some balance. So back in March, I mentioned that I was continuing my read through the Bible. I got through Joshua and 1 Samuel in the month of March, so I'm trucking right along through the Old Testament. I started a new Bible study called Sermon on the Mount. That's from Daily Grace Co. And I chose that one because it's been on my shelf for a while and I have been really interested in it, but also I've been listening to a podcast series this year that's done by the Bible Project. They are doing a deep dive into the Sermon on the Mount. So I've actually kind of gone back and re-listened to some podcast episodes as they've correlated with what I'm doing in the Bible study. It's been really interesting. It's great to be able to study one portion of scripture and hear multiple different ways of approaching it. They're giving different insights on the same verses, and it's just really been very interesting, and I've quite enjoyed it. It's a 6-week Bible study, the Sermon on the Mount series is, so I'm not finished with it. It is going to take me into April, and I'll probably finish it sometime near middle of the month. I haven't quite been keeping up with doing it 7 days a week. Usually I'm getting about 5 in, which is pretty good just because of all of the other things that are going on. And then my other goal in March was to finish this quilt I've been working on for home. It is currently at the quilters. Yay! I don't have a long arm quilt, so once I got it all kind of the top all pieced together, I sent it off because I wanted to have a really elaborate design done on it. So when I get that back from the quilters, I'll be sure to show you guys, but I love, love, love how the top turned out, and I'm just so excited to have a quilt that I'm not giving away as a gift, because every quilt I've made so far has been a gift for somebody else. I've not actually kept any of them for myself. So I think I needed something pretty to add to my bedroom. So April, let's start with the easier of the 2 goals, or the more lighthearted of the 2. Something I've noticed about myself in the last year or so is that I have been much more in tune to how people are speaking. As a YouTuber, I do watch a lot of other videos to see kind of what the trending topics are, how people are presenting things, what are categories that are being covered, what are things that are not being covered, so that way I can provide insight on homeschooling and homeschooling through high school, perhaps from my fresh perspective or from something that hasn't been addressed a whole bunch. And lately, I have really been noticing when people in these videos are using and like and so, or if they are making a statement and they end it like it's a question, like that. And it has started to get so grating. I don't know why recently it has started to bother me so much more than it used to in past years. I used to be able to watch it and hear it and it wouldn't faze me at all. But the more I see it, the more it just really bothers me. And then I started to go back through and look at some of my past videos, and I realized how often I did the same things. I would have these awkward pauses and I'd fill it with an or I would start a sentence with so over and over and over again. So this, so I did that, so this, so here. And I realized that that's really not great public speaking, and I have done my fair share of public speaking. I've taken speech courses. I talk to people all the time in my primary job as a nurse. And so my goal for the month of April is to really try to be more self-disciplined in how I am speaking, particularly how I am speaking in my YouTube videos. I'm going to try to avoid saying like, and starting sentences with so. I think it's going to be a challenge because it is something that is natural for us to do, and I'm really going to make an effort to do better. And that's going to involve probably slowing down my speech, really thinking before I speak, and also preparing better notes for each video. That way I'm very prepared with what it is I want to say with you. So I just did it there. But tell me, is that something that bothers you when you're watching videos? Do you notice when a speaker is overusing and oh and like and so, or if they are making those statements, again, that sound like it's a question, but it's actually a statement? I can't be the only one that this bothers, right? But on a more serious note, this has to do with my main job. So I mentioned that I am a nurse full-time. That is what I have been doing for almost the last 13 years, is working in healthcare, and I love what I do. I love what I do. I have worked many different types of nursing shifts. I've worked full-time nights. I have tried working days and disliked it immensely. It also was extremely disruptive to trying to homeschool. And the last 3 years, I have been working a overnight on-call shift. I work in home care, so I go out and I troubleshoot issues that patients are having in the home. My schedule is 7 days on, 7 days off. It's always the same. I could look out on the calendar 6 months in advance and tell you exactly which days I would be working and exactly which days I would be off, which made planning for things with our family very easy to do. I could make arrangements for things that need to be covered with the kids, if they had needed rides, if they needed someone to stay with them. And it's a great job. It's a great job. I love what I do. But we had a recent big announcement made with the company I work for currently, announcing that they were going to be changing ownership essentially, and that no after-hours nursing was going to be done after the middle of May. That means that all of our nurses who work into the evenings, and myself included, who works overnights, our positions were not going to exist anymore. They were strictly going to see patients during daytime hours. And we were offered the opportunity to go to full-time days or find something else by the middle of May. And for some families, that might not be a big deal if one spouse was working and has to stop. But in our family, my income from my different areas of employment constitutes over half of our family's income. And therefore, me not working full-time is not an option. We would have to dramatically change things for that to happen. And that has put me in the position of having just a few short weeks to figure out what it is I'm going to do. I have started applying and interviewing and job shadowing at different nursing positions, but they all have different types of schedules. And it doesn't matter whether it's a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. nursing job, or a 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., or if it's a Baylor weekends job, or if it's part-time days or part-time evenings. Whatever the change is, it's going to disrupt things for our family because we have been on this same set schedule for the last 3 years. We have gotten used to it and we know how to arrange things around that. And everything else I'm involved in life, from the troop that I am the leader of and the way that our meetings are arranged, to all of the camping trips I have booked and paid for and announced out to everybody in the troop for the summer, are all basically kind of in jeopardy at this point because I don't know where I'm going to be working in 6 short weeks. And it's been extremely stressful. It's been incredibly stressful to just have that big unknown. I work in a nursing field, which means there are plenty of different positions out there. And it's not that I doubt I can find something. I know I'm going to find something. But it is knowing what that specific job is going to be. If I'm going to pick a unit simply because it has the best schedule for a family, but it might not be a specialty that I'm 100% comfortable with or really passionate about. Or do I pick one that I do feel passionately about, but maybe the schedule is more disruptive? It's making those decisions, and it's incredibly stressful. It's incredibly hard, and I've had conversations with my family. My kids are old enough, they're older teens. They understand what's going on. They understand that I'm looking for a new job, that I'm debating on what I want my schedule to look like, what type of field I want to look like, and what the possibilities are. We've had these discussions. The other challenge with that is that I'm really, really, really trying not to let my stress over this overflow into how I'm interacting with my family. And that is hard. Kids have a sixth sense. When a parent is stressed or upset or angry or worried, it doesn't matter how hard we try to hide it. I feel like they know that something's going on, and they can kind of feel that palpable tension that's around you. So I'm really hoping that I can try to get through this period of transition without negatively impacting my kids. So that leads me to what my personal goal is for April. The big one is to figure out where my next nursing job will be at. That's a lot of job applications, it's a lot of interviews, it's a lot of shadowing, and then ultimately sitting down with the family and making a decision on what is going to work best. This is not something that can be just a me decision. It's got to be something that I discuss with the whole family, because no matter what I choose, it is going to impact them in some way. So, there I did it. I said so. This is going to be such a hard goal. But I do ask that, you say, keep me in your prayers if you don't mind, that I find something that will work well for our family and will also allow me to continue to provide excellent nursing care and excellent patient education and make a difference in people's lives in that way. Because I really do I love what I do. I love being a nurse. I have loved being a home care nurse. I have done home care nursing for about the last 6 years in multiple different roles, and there is something just wonderful about helping people feel independent and safe and able to take care of themselves in their home. And I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it immensely. So that is personal and faith goals for the month of April. All right, let's move into a category that's maybe a little more lighthearted. Let's talk about relationships and family. I had 2 goals for March. The first one was to make an album for my grandpa. He turned 90 recently. He does have dementia that is progressing rather rapidly. And one of the things he's struggling with is remembering who people are and their relationships to each other and to him. For example, I might walk into the room and he'll say, "Hi, Abby." He'll know who I am, but he won't remember that I'm his granddaughter. And he'll recognize one of my kids, but he won't remember that they are my children and his great-grandchildren. I had gotten the idea from another family member who did this for one of their relatives to make basically like a photo album, a very simplified photo album, had some clear pictures of everybody and then listed general information about them. This is so-and-so. They are your, niece. They are the daughter of so-and-so. They enjoy doing this, or this is their job. Very simple. Something he could flip through and be able to check out those photos and find out who the different family members are. He loves photo albums. He loves looking through pictures, and occasionally it does spark memories and he will start talking about past events. I did get that put together for him. It was a labor of love. I wanted so badly to like go overboard with the scrapbooking because I love scrapbooks. I love making them. But I forced myself to keep it simple so it would be something that would be easy for him to flip through and use and get some benefit out of. I made that for him. Now my other goal was to do shopping days with each of my kids. They both need summer clothes so badly. My son is ginormous and keeps outgrowing clothes. My daughter has bemoaned the fact that even though she hasn't gotten any taller or really changed size in about 4 years, she also hasn't updated her wardrobe a whole bunch in that time simply because she's not been outgrowing clothes. And therefore I told them, well, we'll plan some shopping days. I'll take each of you on a shopping day. We'll get lunch. We'll buy the clothes. We did not get to that in March, and I am going to blame March Madness. I have 2 kids who are absolutely obsessed with college basketball. Absolutely. My stepdad and his family, they host this whole tournament thing where everyone turns in their brackets and they have prize money and all of that stuff. And the kids have been obsessive about watching as many of the games as possible. They are also huge Purdue Boilermaker fans. Like crazy Purdue fans. And naturally, they are thrilled to pieces that Purdue is going to be playing in the finals here soon. And that just made scheduling anything really hard. If I had a day where I was free, sure enough, there was a game on and they didn't want to miss it. So I'm going to blame the March Madness and the game schedule for why we couldn't get to it. In reality, we probably could have made it work, but we will try again in April. And that's okay because this is Indiana, and let's be honest, our weather is crazy. We had a 70 degree day, and then 4 days later we had snow. We've had all kinds of storms. The temperatures aren't particularly fabulous right now. We're lucky if we hit the 50s on a nice day. And it won't be till towards the end of April before we start to see some actual decent weather. So we are going to try again in April to do shopping days with each of the kids. It's got to happen in April though. In the health category, I bumped up my daily water intake to 40 ounces. I am not a huge water fan. I've discussed this before. I just don't like drinking plain water, but I am getting better at it. And I am finding that there are times when I am craving it now. And that feels really weird. I'll be working on something in the kitchen and go, I'm thirsty. And before I would have said, oh, let's go grab a diet soda or let's make a cup of coffee. But my body's actually going, nope, water. So that is great. It's great to see that I am gravitating towards just drinking the water much more easily. I hit that goal of 40 a day. I'm actually going to just keep that for the month of April. I feel like I have enough other things going on in life than to try to worry about increasing that goal this month. So we're just going to maintain it. I did also go in March and get my annual blood work done. That was another goal. Thankfully, all of the levels are normal. Everything is looking good. I'm actually really pleased where things like my cholesterol levels are. Where my electrolytes are as far as how balanced everything is. That just bodes really, really well. I did a huge change in my diet about 3 years ago. It led to a big drop in weight, and my cholesterol at the time had been creeping towards the high mark, and it dropped very low to a point where my doctor actually told me that she has no concerns about me having heart disease pretty much ever. And that was a great thing to hear, considering that so many in my family actually have history of heart disease, heart attacks. I've had several family members who've had very severe heart attacks or multiple heart attacks. So I've been monitoring that and really trying to pay attention to my cardiovascular health. So it was great to see the results of that blood work and know that everything is okay. In April, again, I'm going to keep that water goal the same, but my other goal kind of relates back to all of the things that are going on in my personal life with the job hunt and the change and everything, and that is to focus on some quality sleep. I have not been sleeping well. Again, that's related largely to the stress and the unknown and just not being able to quiet my brain at night. I work nights on the weeks I'm on, and some nights are very busy and I'm simply just out seeing people all throughout the night. And because of that, I normally do get by with very little sleep. If I can get 5-6 hours, I'm golden. I've worked night shifts for so long that I've trained my body to that regard. But lately, I will lay down to sleep and my mind is just rolling. Just so many things going through my head that I cannot fall asleep. I cannot get to a point where my body feels relaxed. And I need to take steps to fix that in April. I'm going to try a couple different techniques. I've got some aromatherapy oils that I'm going to try to utilize. I'm working on doing that whole cutting out of anything like real stimulating as far as watching things on my phone or anything on a TV within so many hours of going to sleep. Really watching my caffeine intake in the late afternoons and in the evenings, and I'm hoping that will help. I also hope that finding a job and knowing exactly what I'm going to be doing come May will help with that as well. But getting my sleep back on track. I don't anticipate needing to increase the number of hours I'm sleeping. Like I said, I've just always functioned really well on about 6 hours-ish, but I need to be able to get those 6 hours, and I need to be able to get back into where I can fall into a deep sleep really quickly and really easily and wake up feeling really well rested. So that is my health goals for April. Now in the homeschool category, I had 2 goals in the month of March. The first was to simply have a consistent month where we were homeschooling every day. We were doing group subjects every day. There had just been far too many inconsistencies in January and February, and we were able to do that in March. I felt so good about how March went in our homeschool. I talk about it in more detail in my quarter 3 update video that went up last week, so you can check that out to find out more details about what it is we did in quarter 3 and how it all went. But the consistency finally got there and it felt so good. Now my other goal was to finish writing a curriculum. I put together a 1-semester elective course on life skills. I have it all typed up. There are graphics and illustrations and links and all kinds of activities in it. I'm really quite proud of it. I'm so excited with how it turned out. I recruited some different people to help me out in getting some expert information to incorporate into that. I spoke with my brother who studied graphic design and is an artist to help with adding kind of that art component to it. And I feel like it's going to be excellent for my kids for next year. Fingers crossed, because I put a lot of time and effort into putting this together. I will have a video that I will do in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks where I will introduce this officially to you. I will show you what it includes, how it works, what all is in there, what type of topics are covered. I am going to offer it out to the public. I'm not sure exactly what will be the launch date yet, but I will be sure to announce it. I am going to offer it up probably for like $10, and I will do that through the Buy Me a Coffee site that you'll see linked down below in the description box. That is something that I had joined recently that just gives people a chance to help support my channel if they have been feeling like my content's been beneficial to them and the resources I've been sharing have been beneficial. Given the amount of effort that went into producing this semester curriculum, I was really on the fence. I love to offer things to you guys as free resources, but with encouragement from my husband and from my family, they said, if you feel like this is of that much of value, you should get something for it. So that is what I decided to do. I will launch that here sometime in April, and I will announce it and have the intro video, and then it'll be available if you would like to purchase it. So it'll be a PDF download with everything included, and then that'll be yours to use for however long you'd like to use it. So be on the lookout for that. I'm super pleased with it, and I cannot wait to share it with you. It was a fun project to work on for sure. And that leads me into my April goals. And the first goal in April is to start working on the second one semester curriculum I want to do with my kids, and that is a mental health course. I feel like we have kind of a mental health epidemic in America. You hear it in the news all the time, and you see the stories and you see the evidence of it in how in the lives of our teens, anxiety and depression and just different things, and the way that we are treating those different conditions, the way that it's being approached both from the way society is approaching those topics, the way medicine is approaching those topics, and how it's, impacting people's lives. That's all just changed so much over the last decade, and I really felt like this was a topic that my teens need to review and be more aware of before they leave home, especially since college is going to be a huge life change for them. Being out and on your own, it's a huge event and a huge adjustment. So I'm going to start working on that course. That one, I have a feeling, might take me a little bit longer, simply because the materials that I've gathered to start pulling research from are very in-depth. I've gotten quite a few books on different mental health topics and mental health issues, and I'm really trying to do some thorough research. That way, whatever information I'm giving to my kids is accurate and comes from verified sources. And also the way I put it together and present it to them is something that's still engaging, and I don't want to say it's a hard topic to make fun, but I want it to be something they enjoy learning, something that they don't dread to do as a subject, but they actually find themselves, wanting to study that topic more. Hopefully I can get that project fairly well underway in April. I don't anticipate getting it all the way done in April. I don't feel like I could produce a quality product in 4 weeks, but if I can make some good headway on it by the end of the month, I will be glad. And then the second thing that I need to do in April is actually help my daughter apply for her dual enrollment classes for next year. We have a state school here that does online distance courses, and we know of at least 3 that she is going to take between the fall semester and the spring semester there, or that we would like her to take. And they recommended that we get our information to them in April, start getting her application in and registration done and things like that. So we need to work on getting that accomplished. As I kind of go through that process and find out more about it and the ins and outs and ups and downs, I will be sure to share that with you. So if you are looking to do dual enrollment with your kids in the future, you can learn from our mistakes and be able to go through that process smoothly. And then my last category is home and garden. March was just all about the outdoor projects, which I love. I'm all about the garden. So we had to finish garden bed clean out, get everything fertilized in March, got that done. The only part of my March garden goal that got delayed was actually setting up our new beds. I am putting in 2 very large in-ground beds. I mean, like huge in-ground beds. And that involves laying down cardboard and having dirt delivered and getting dirt out there. It has simply been too wet. We have had just rainstorm after rainstorm after rainstorm. And even right now, as I'm filming, we've got 60-mile-an-hour winds and a tornado warning in the, not in our immediate area, but just south of us. We have that going on tonight. It's just been way too wet to have a huge truckload of dirt delivered and then have to pull out our tractor and trailer to be able to haul the dirt from, the driveway out to our barn area where the beds will be. Hopefully we get a streak of nice weather in April. I had to push the delivery of the dirt. It should be here by the end of this week, and then I have some people coming to help me over the course of 2 days, and I'm really hoping we can get the majority of that done in that time frame. The other thing that was a goal in April was to get my son's room redone. We had gotten him all of these new things for Christmas, and he had started kind of putting things up and rearranging it, but we had painting to do. He had furniture he wanted to move around. He had new lights he wanted to install. So we worked on that and got his room done. He didn't want me to film it, so I'm respecting his privacy. If he changes his mind, I will show you what we did, because I do think it's a very cool young man's room, but I want to respect his wishes and not show that unless he says so. So April, like I mentioned, we're going to finish setting up those garden beds. That's a big thing we need to do. The other thing I would like to do in April is to get a deep clean done of my kitchen. I have a list of like all of the different rooms in my house and different spaces, particular closets and things like that, that I want to get deep cleaned over the course of the year. And basically each month I've been kind of picking one and working on it. I started with all small things, but the kitchen, it just needs it. I mean, we're talking about pulling out appliances and cleaning up behind them. I want to take my KitchenAid mixers and like get into all of the crevices and get those super, super clean. I'd like to look at how some things are arranged within our pantry and make a few adjustments in that regard as well. And April's just a good month to do it. One of my part-time jobs is I run a baking business from home. And we had Christmas, followed by Valentine's Day, followed by Easter. And April, there's just this tiniest bit of a lull where there's still orders that I'm doing each week, but it's not crazy. But May gets us into, one, Mother's Day season, and Mother's Day there's always a bunch of orders, but also wedding season, which means that there'll be multiple wedding cakes going out the door every single week. That makes April the ideal time for me to take a few days, basically tear my kitchen apart, clean it really well, and put it all back together. All right, I know I got a bit long-winded in this video, especially talking about all of the personal changes that are going on in my life right now. But I have to say that when I first got into YouTube, I had no idea how much you all as an online community would come to mean to me. It's wonderful to hear your stories. It's great to share with you, to encourage each other back and forth. And every time I get a comment or an email, I read all of it. I read all of it. And it's just so touching to hear from each and every one of you who takes the time to message me. So I want to say thank you so much for being that extended family to me, for continuing to support me on this homeschooling through high school journey. And I hope that I am providing support and encouragement back to you. That is really one of the beauties of the homeschooling community, is we are just, I don't know, we're unique as a community in that we all have our own reasons for why we homeschool. We all have our own ways of homeschooling, and yet we are there for each other and able to support one another and provide that encouragement back and forth. So thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. Now, let me know down in the comments, what are you going to be working on in the month of April? Do you have serious goals? Do you have lighthearted goals? Are you like me with a mix of both? What kind of things are you going to be tackling this month? As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Be sure to be on the lookout for my announcement video about the life skills course. I'm so excited to share that with you. And if you notice that I'm breaking my goal of using like and so, call me out on it because I'm trying so hard. Even in this video, I've caught myself a couple of times, and I'm gonna really try to do well in future ones. See you guys in the next video. Happy homeschooling.